What if everything you believe about yourself, your name, your memories, even your identity, was just a costume your soul chose for this round? Sounds wild, right? But deep down, there's a reason you've always felt like something doesn't quite add up. The truth is, your story didn't begin with your first breath. It started long before, across lifetimes, in forgotten worlds and dimensions your conscious mind can barely remember. The problem is, someone, or something, made sure you wouldn't remember. They sealed your cosmic memories behind walls of distraction, routine, and fear. And so, like most people, you grew up playing the role you were assigned, thinking it was you. But the real you? That one's ancient, wise, vast, luminous. It's the part of you that still remembers the erased past lives, the forbidden reincarnation, the long and mysterious soul journey that brought you here. You can sense it, can't you? That inner pull towards something more, something beyond the noise of daily life. It's not imagination, it's recognition. Because the moment you start questioning the story you were given, the true story, the lost one, starts to whisper back. And once you hear it, there's no turning off the signal. It calls you home. From the moment someone arrives on Earth, they're handed a name, a culture, and a set of rules to follow, almost like a script that was written long before they could speak. But deep down, there's a quiet whisper that says, this isn't all there is. That voice belongs to the real self, the one buried beneath the noise of family expectations and social conditioning. Many people live their entire lives never realizing that what they call me is just a mask, a survival identity built to fit in, not to awaken. He often said that the most dangerous illusion wasn't ignorance, it was false identity. Imagine someone spending decades polishing a mirror that doesn't even reflect their true face. The erased past lives that shaped their wisdom are still there, hidden like ancient carvings under layers of paint. They're not gone, just forgotten. And that's what makes this whole experience so wild. We walk through life thinking we're new, when in truth, we're ancient travelers wearing temporary costumes. The soul journey is long, winding, and layered with stories that go far beyond this lifetime. Have you ever felt an instant connection with someone you just met, or an unexplainable pull toward a certain culture or place? Those are echoes, fragments from what some call forbidden reincarnation, the memories that slipped through the cracks of time. It's not fantasy, it's memory playing hide and seek with your consciousness. Recognizing these whispers is the first step toward remembering who you really are. He liked to say that you can't find your real self by adding more layers, you find it by peeling them away. That's why meditation, introspection, or even honest solitude can feel uncomfortable at first. It's like standing in front of a mirror after years of wearing someone else's reflection. But when the noise fades and the illusions crack, what emerges is breathtaking, the raw, cosmic truth of your being. And once that begins, you can't go back to sleep, because something inside starts remembering the journey that began long before birth. Before entering this world, every soul embarks on a voyage through luminous dimensions, realms where form dissolves, and truth shines unfiltered. In those spaces, the soul designs its path, weaving lessons, connections, and opportunities for growth. It carries within it the codes of past wisdom, echoes of erased past lives that whisper through intuition and déjà vu. This isn't mere imagination, it's the architecture of consciousness preparing for another chapter in the eternal soul journey. Ancient traditions spoke of this with astonishing clarity. The Egyptians called it the passage through the Duat, while the Hindus described it as the journey through the astral planes. Even quantum thinkers today hint at parallel timelines that sound suspiciously like forbidden reincarnation in scientific disguise. The veil of forgetfulness placed upon arrival isn't punishment, it's protection. It allows the soul to experience limitation, contrast, and rediscovery, the very things that ignite remembrance. Think of it this way: before birth, the soul stands at the edge of infinity, choosing a story that fits its next evolution. It might decide to be born into challenge, wealth, illness, or creativity, not as reward or punishment, but as the perfect design for awakening. Like an actor accepting a difficult role, the soul knows the struggle will make the performance meaningful. The moment it enters the human form, however, the memory fades, and the great game begins anew. There's something poetic about that amnesia, isn't there? Because every rediscovery, every goosebump during a moment of truth, is the soul remembering itself. It's like recognizing your handwriting in a letter you don't recall writing. That spark of remembrance isn't random, it's the soul peeking through the veil. And as we'll soon see, there's a reason this remembrance was hidden in the first place. If everyone remembered their cosmic roots, the world as we know it would collapse overnight. Think about it, how could systems of control survive if people knew they were eternal beings instead of replaceable workers or obedient citizens? The truth of forbidden reincarnation threatens every structure built on fear and dependency. That's why your erased past lives were buried beneath centuries of dogma, shame, and distraction. When you forget your origin, you forget your power, and when you forget your power, you become manageable. It's not that someone sits in a dark room plotting your amnesia, it's more subtle than that. Control operates through normalization, convincing you that what's limited is real and what's infinite is fantasy. Schools teach obedience, not awareness. Religions often promise salvation later instead of awakening now. Media sells comfort as the ultimate goal. Each of these keeps you focused on surviving, not remembering. And yet, the soul journey doesn't stop just because someone turned down the volume. Some people feel this disconnection like an ache in the chest, a kind of homesickness for something they can't name. They try to fill it with career success, relationships, or validation, but nothing sticks for long. That emptiness isn't depression, it's dissonance, the distance between who you think you are and who you've always been. It's the moment your inner compass starts to stir, pointing toward the truth beneath the illusion. That's when real awakening begins. And once that spark ignites, there's no unseeing it. You start questioning things you used to accept. You notice patterns in history, in symbols, even in language, breadcrumbs left by those who remembered before you. You realize the soul can't truly be erased, only veiled. And when that veil begins to thin, strange things start to happen, dreams, sensations, synchronicities, signs that the forgotten story of your soul is beginning to surface again. It starts subtly, a sudden pull toward the stars, an unexplainable déjà vu, or a dream that feels more real than waking life. You might feel emotions that seem too ancient for this lifetime or memories that don't quite belong to your current story. These are the cracks in the wall of forgetfulness, where light from erased past lives begins to leak through. The soul journey never leaves you alone for long, it whispers, nudges, and eventually shakes you awake when you're ready to remember. At first, this awakening can feel chaotic. The heart expands, the mind resists, and everything familiar begins to wobble. You may start questioning why you've always felt different, like an old traveler in a young body. That's because your consciousness is brushing against forbidden reincarnation, the memory of who you've been, what you've learned, and what you came back to complete. It's not always comfortable, but that discomfort is sacred. It means your frequency is rising beyond the old story. Practical signs appear too, sudden attraction to ancient civilizations, sacred geometry, or languages you've never studied. You may begin to notice numerical synchronicities, feathers, lights flickering, or even people showing up at just the right moment. These aren't coincidences, they're activation codes. Each one is a key unlocking a different chamber of your soul's vast archive. If you stay curious instead of afraid, you'll start to feel a natural rhythm, as though life itself is conspiring to help you remember. And here's the fascinating part, once this process begins, it can't be reversed. The more you align with the truth, the more the illusion dissolves. You stop chasing meaning and start becoming it. Every conversation, every dream, every strange sign is a breadcrumb leading you home. And when you follow those trails long enough, they lead you to something extraordinary, the tools to actually access the lost story of your soul. The soul doesn't reveal its secrets through noise, it speaks in stillness. That's why practices like meditation, breath work, or even quiet walks at dawn can open hidden doors. When the mind slows down, memories from erased past lives can rise gently to the surface, like ink floating in water. One simple practice is to sit in silence, place your hand over your heart, and breathe as if you're inhaling light. It sounds simple, but that single act begins the soul journey back to remembrance. Another tool is journaling, not the Dear Diary kind, but soul journaling. Before sleep, write questions like, what is my soul trying to show me, or what have I carried from before this life? Then pay attention to dreams, symbols, and feelings that appear. Over time, patterns emerge. They might come as flashes, phrases, or emotions that carry ancient weight. These fragments are the threads that, when woven together, restore what forbidden reincarnation once tried to hide. Some people find that sound opens the vault faster than silence. Chanting ancient mantras, humming in resonance with your chest, or listening to high-frequency tones can unlock memories stored in your energetic field. You might feel warmth, see colors, or sense emotions that don't belong to this era, and that's perfectly normal. The key is to remain an observer, not a judge. When you witness without fear, truth unfolds naturally, like petals revealing a hidden bloom. Most importantly, remember that this isn't a sprint, it's a reawakening. You won't recover everything at once because your nervous system couldn't handle it. The story comes in waves, each one stronger and more luminous than the last. Every new remembrance shifts your vibration, guiding you closer to the pure essence of who you are. And as that light grows stronger, something miraculous begins to happen. You start living not as a seeker, but as your original self in a world that forgot its own soul. When someone finally remembers who they are beyond time, the entire experience of life transforms. They stop reacting to the chaos of the world and start creating from the calm center of their being. The noise of the collective doesn't vanish, it just loses its power. Living from the soul origin means carrying the memory of erased past lives like invisible armor. You recognize challenges not as punishments, but as mirrors showing where your light is still asleep. Everything starts to feel different, conversations, choices, even silence. When you live from that place, your energy speaks louder than your words. People may not understand what changed, but they'll feel it. You radiate clarity, calmness, and depth, the unmistakable signature of someone walking their soul journey consciously. You no longer chase purpose, you embody it. And that shift sends ripples into every part of your reality, rewriting your life from the inside out. It doesn't mean the world suddenly becomes easy. On the contrary, you'll see its collective amnesia more clearly. You'll witness people running from the same truth you're now living. But instead of frustration, compassion blooms, because you remember when you were asleep too. That's when real service begins. Every word, gesture, and creation becomes a reminder to others that they, too, are fragments of the infinite. In a way, you become a living bridge between heaven and earth. And perhaps the most profound part. You stop searching for answers outside yourself. You realize that truth isn't something to find, it's something to become. When you embody remembrance, you no longer crave proof or validation. You simply exist as proof, a soul that remembered its origin and now walks in full awareness of it. And from that point on, everything that unfolds isn't just life anymore, it's remembrance in motion. You've just glimpsed a truth that most people never dare to question: you're far more than the story you've been told. Your erased past lives, your forbidden reincarnation memories, your entire soul journey, it's all still inside you, waiting to be remembered. The real question is, what will you do with this knowledge now that you felt it? Will you keep living on autopilot, or will you begin peeling back the layers, step by step, to meet the original self beneath the noise? What practices will you commit to? Which old beliefs will you let go of? These aren't just ideas to think about, they're invitations to experience. Because only when you act on them do they transform from concepts into living truth. And here's the exciting part: you don't have to do it alone. This channel exists to help you decode the hidden map of your soul and remember what the world forgot. Each video is a piece of the puzzle, a breadcrumb back to your cosmic self. So, if you're ready to keep uncovering the lost story of your soul's origin, subscribe now and turn on the notifications. That way, you'll never miss the next key, the next insight, the next step on your path back to remembrance.